What's up, morons? We're back with another free Friday edition of Moron Money. If you want more Moron Money, check out patreon.com/blindmike, where we do 2 bonus episodes every week of Moron Money, at least 2. There were 3 up this week, so check that out. And as always, this is not financial advice. It's merely a springboard to doing your own research. It's called Moron Money, and I am a blind fool, so you shouldn't be getting any information from me and taking it as gospel. Go do your own research, for Christ's sake. All right. So today we've got a lot of business to get to. Particularly, I want to talk about how the media gets you to panic. You saw a lot of that this week. But first, I will get into some news and why the markets were so bad at the beginning of the week. A lot of that had to do with this Delta variant. People are panicking. Are we going to go into another lockdown? Who knows, I say. Very possible. It seems like we're kind of gearing up for that and they're preparing us for it. So I would say this. Be aware that it's going to happen. And as always, I mean, this is pretty much goes for any time of year. If you need the money you're investing for rent, utilities, car payments, whatever, then don't invest it. You need that money on hand for emergencies, for your bills, and whatever. So you should never invest money that you're going to need in the near future, or even 6 months down the road, whatever. Make sure that you can afford to lose anything you're investing. That's just always the case. But also have the strategy that when there is blood in the streets, when there's panic going on, when we have massive losses like we did on Monday, both in the stock market and cryptocurrency, consider that a time to be using the money that you can afford to potentially lose. Those are good days to buy. I was buying on Monday, and then the rest of the week, I did nothing. I just watched the markets increase. So, why are the markets like this? We had a lot of FUD going on in the news. I talked on Patreon about the European Union cracking down on crypto wallets. All the stories would have you believe that they were going to start banning wallets. And really all it was is you kind of have to prove who you are. You have to show your ID now or there eventually, not even now necessarily. But you're going to have to basically show your ID. As of right now, the exchanges that I use, whether it's, sorry if this mic is cracking, let me turn it down a little here. As of right now, I use Blockfi, which we'll talk about in a minute, Uphold. I have a Coinbase account, and for all of those, I think you at least have to give your social security number, if not a picture of your ID or whatever. So this panic was all for naught. It was really basically, hey, you know how you have to show your ID at a bank or anywhere where you're going to be dealing with finances? You're going to have to do that on crypto exchanges in Europe as well. So all the panic was a lot of baloney as far as I'm concerned. And I hate to use such harsh language, but that's how riled up I get about this. And some of the other FUD was, just the idea of the Delta variant. Yes, that is bad, and that will be bad for the market if we go into another lockdown. But is it bad long term? Well, if you think that we're never going to come out of our homes, then yes, businesses are going to start to shut down and all sorts of things like that. But if you think it's a 3-month lockdown, then you can use that time to maybe start investing, like a lot of people did last year when the market crashed, and then you saw surges. Now there have been experts that also say even if we are locked down in the fall, that markets will still thrive. I don't exactly know how that would work, but like I say, do your own research and see if you agree with that theory. But some of the other news we got, obviously, when markets started to increase, particularly in crypto, was you had Elon Musk saying that he, not just Tesla owns Bitcoin, but he personally owns Bitcoin. SpaceX owns Bitcoin. Jack Dorsey has been doing all sorts of things. He said that Bitcoin can contribute to world peace. This all happened in that The B Word conference that they had on Wednesday. And to be honest, the only one interesting that spoke was Kathy Wood. The other two were like nerds. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, you probably don't even care what I have to say. Like, they're geniuses, but incredibly socially awkward, mumbling and stumbling all over themselves. So it wasn't the most entertaining, and the moderator was maybe even worse than them. They need a dynamic personality to start figuring out how to explain Bitcoin to people. Like I've said, Anthony Pompliano did a podcast with Andrew Schultz a few months back, and Schultz knew nothing about Bitcoin, and Pomp did a good job of explaining it to him. So that's a guy that if you want to kind of listen to him explain Bitcoin, that might be someone like that would probably be helpful to you if you're not in the market yet. But so now we're talking prices. We've got all these, resistance levels. Bitcoin hit 29,000 and bounced right back up. Now we're above 32,000, Ethereum over $2,000. And people say now it's going to skyrocket from there. However, we've heard that a lot over the last couple of months. So, don't necessarily bank on that. Be observant of what the price does, kind of monitor it. But don't overreact to anything. For example, that's the main thing I wanted to talk about is how heartbreaking, how gut-wrenching it can be when the markets are down, to the point where even when I was reading some of those European Union stories about cracking down on crypto, I who always says, don't panic, do your own research, I was reading some of those articles like, oh boy, is this the end? And then the more I looked into it, I realized, no, of course not. So it is amazing how hopeless you feel when a lot of these articles are coming out. And why do they all come out at the same time? Some of it might just be people panicking and overreacting. Some of it might be genuine bad news, coincidentally happening at once. But I do believe a lot of it is a coordinated effort to shake out the weak hands and the dummies like you or I that don't know the ins and outs of investing. A lot of us will panic and sell, and that's when rich people and institutions gobble that Bitcoin or Ethereum or stocks, whatever it is. They take advantage of that because they know that people who don't really know or don't think long term aren't hanging on to it. And that's a buying opportunity for them. So it should be a buying opportunity for you as well. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, I mentioned BlockFi. Earlier in the week, we had news that New Jersey cracked down on the interest rates that they could offer. So if you don't know about BlockFi, they offer up to 7.5% interest on stable coins, which is astonishingly more than any bank. Like a lot of banks offer negative interest rates. And on crypto, they offer interest as well. Bitcoin, I think if you have less than 0.25 Bitcoin, it's like 4 or 5%. But then once you get more than that, the rates really drop. But they do have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Uniswap, Chainlink, and Litecoin, and maybe one or two other coins that I'm not particularly familiar with. But you get interest on all of those, no matter what the rate is. You can let your crypto sit in there and do nothing and earn interest, which could be very big, because I always talk about that number 0.03 Bitcoin equals if let me rephrase. I'm a dummy. Just stay with me here. If you evenly divide Bitcoin among every human being on Earth, then every human would own 0.03 Bitcoin. Now, that'll never happen. It'll never be evenly distributed, of course. But my point is 0.03 Bitcoin might be a good place to start. And, you could earn that in a matter of months, depending upon how much Bitcoin you hold. So think about using BlockFi, but there are other apps as well that aren't being scrutinized as heavily. So BlockFi, New Jersey just cracked down on them, as I said. I think Texas and Alabama have kind of joined the party on that one. So BlockFi is under some heavy scrutiny. Their CEO says there's nothing wrong with what they're doing, but be aware of that if you are a BlockFi account holder. Even at least in New Jersey, it doesn't affect accounts that are already in existence. It's just new accounts as of right now. But just be aware of that. And also know that there are other apps. Buddy just told me about Celsius, and they also seem to be adding Cardano to their list, which is big for me. And BlockFi does not have that. Excuse me. So if you're a Cardano holder or just someone who's hesitant to use BlockFi or any of these other apps, look into Celsius. And if you know of an app that's better than either of those, leave it in the comments. Help us help each other. if you would be so kind. I think of this as a community of morons here, where if there's stocks you like, if there's crypto you like, if there's any, tricks that you have or news that you're aware of that I didn't mention, leave it in the comments. Any corrections you have, because I am a fool. So if there's any corrections you have for what I say, leave that in the comments as well, and we'll all learn and grow together. As far as actual news, there isn't much more. JPMorgan has started offering crypto to retail investors. So now basically everyone, all of JPMorgan's clients, can acquire crypto. This is interesting news because JPMorgan, Jamie Dimon of JPMorgan, has said Bitcoin is basically poison. He said, don't buy Bitcoin. It's a fool's errand. And then bit by bit, you see JPMorgan getting heavier and heavier into Bitcoin. So look into what Jamie Dimon has said. Look into what JPMorgan has done since then, and tell me if you think there's market manipulation going on or not. It seems pretty evident to me. I've spoken very fast here because there's not a ton of news. I wanted to breeze through that. I guess here's my strategy as I'll leave you. I mentioned this the other day. My strategy as we move forward here, I'm probably not going to be buying very much. I'm not very liquid these days. A lot of my money is tied up in stocks and crypto. So I'm kind of just waiting to see where the markets go. Like on Monday, I bought a little bit. Chainlink was down a lot. Litecoin was down a lot. So I bought both of those. Ethereum as well. Right now, I'm satisfied with the amount of Bitcoin I have, but I think anytime that's under $30,000, you should consider buying. And then stocks that I bought, same type of thing. Penn National was down below $70. That's back up. Tilray, I believe, is under $14 now. Nano Dimension is back under $7. Velodyne is even below $9, I think, but Velodyne has had some trouble. Their CEO was just ousted. So keep an eye on them. Ticker VLDR. That's the basically the smart car sensory technology, LiDAR technology that I talk about from time to time. Let me know what you think of them. Nano Dimension, by the way, ticker NNDM. Tilray, TLRY, Penn National, Penn, if you want to look into those. But also, I've been slowly investing, every month a little bit here and there into certain ETFs, Schwab Dividend ETF, Vanguard, SPYD, SPY, SDY. So looking at ETFs, let me know what you like. And also, Round Hill Sports Betting for gambling, like Penn National and DraftKings, both way down the last couple of weeks. But Round Hill Sports Betting might be a safer option if you like some of these gambling stocks and want to take, less of a risk, I guess. So let me know what you like for ETFs, things that I should be looking into, high dividend yield paying stocks and ETFs and all that. And that sort of helps you kind of hedge a little bit against the possible crash. Also, tech stocks way up. Twitter is on fire after earnings coming out, so that'll affect a lot of prices as well. We talked about Netflix this week. One thing I thought was interesting about Netflix is they officially, we've talked about it a couple of times, the rumors, they have officially announced that they're going to start adding video games. It'll be interesting to see how they go about that, because if they do it right, that could be huge for Netflix. But also, you're going to see other streaming services start to get into that. Like with Disney, for example, it seems obvious if there's any Disney movies. Like I don't know if there are even I don't know if there's Star Wars movies or any of those fucking superhero, whatever Disney has. If there are video games related to that, that's huge just for kids. So that could be a big deal. And keep an eye on all of that I've mentioned. We'll be back on Sunday on patreon.com/blindmike. If you want to talk more in detail about news and stocks and crypto and all that sort of stuff, check out the Patreon. And a free way to support the channel is just by subscribing and liking, tapping the notification bell, leaving a comment. All of that helps. And share it on social media. Tell a friend that you think would be interested. And all of that helps get more eyeballs on the channel, because there's no eyeballs running the channel. So we'd at least like some watching it, if you'd be so kind. So we'll be back Sunday. And until then, Keep making money, folks.